All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Raiders Daily. My name is Jackson. I post daily Raiders content, so be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button if you enjoy it. So, Lamar Jackson officially got franchise tagged, but what that means is if you want to trade for him, if you want to make an offer, the Ravens, they can match that offer. It's going to take two first round draft picks. And when you consider it in comparison to guys like Deshaun Watson, who went for an arm and a leg and got paid a handsome salary, it really isn't that far fetched for a team like the Las Vegas Raiders to make a move and sign Lamar. Now, we all have our own opinions on this. I am pretty fine with either. And that's kind of been the reoccurring theme so far through this offseason. I would love a guy like CJ Stroud. I'd love a Bryce Young. I'd take an Anthony Richardson, not so high on Will Levis. I'd take him if they had to. I'd go Bryce Young, CJ Stroud, Anthony Richardson. I'd like any of those quarterbacks. But here's the reality of the situation. Lamar Jackson is 26 years old. All right. Like I said, it's only going to take two first round draft picks to acquire him. It's not like you got to give three or four first round picks and just completely screw over your team. Now, guaranteed money, that's where things get interesting because we're looking at probably at least 200 total $1 million for a Lamar Jackson contract. It's not only do the Raiders have that money, it also is should the Raiders pay that money. The thing is, and we all know this by now, like just to name a quick fact, like Lamar Jackson is worlds better than Derek Carr. I hate to say it because Derek Carr, thick and thin, Raiders guy for life. He went through a lot. We went through a lot with him, and I'll always have an appreciation for Derek Carr. But Lamar Jackson raises the ceiling, he raises the floor, he raises your potential, and you pair him with Josh Jacobs, you pair him with the best wide receiver in the NFL in Devontae Adams, you pair him with Hunter Renfro, you pair him with Darren Waller, an improving offensive line, and offensively speaking, undisputed, this is a top five team. Top five offense in the National Football League, like undisputed if Lamar Jackson is healthy. That's it. Like, I get it. There's a lot of concern with mobile quarterbacks, with rushing quarterbacks. What's their longevity look like? We take a look at Lamar's last two seasons. He got injured in both of them. All right. And it sucks. This past year, I think, was a little bit different because, like, it's kind of like if you're not going to pay me, why would I put money on the line? Why would I put this contract on the line if you're not going to pay me? Like, it's from a player standpoint, it was pretty risky for Lamar to come back. Before Lamar got injured, this Ravens team was 8-4. All right. We go to Lamar's first season as a starting quarterback, his first year as a starting quarterback. So, sophomore campaign after his rookie year, he led the Baltimore Ravens to 13-2. And I just want to make it known real quick. I can't even name, I mean, I'm sure it wasn't that long ago, but off the top of my head, I cannot name you the last elite Baltimore Raven wide receiver core that they had. All right. So just float that out there. Lamar, in his first year as the full time starting quarterback, led his team to a 13-2 record. He won an MVP. Obviously, he made All Pro. He won a Pro or got to the Pro Bowl through 36 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. He had over 1,000 yards rushing. He threw for over 3,000 yards passing. He was a complete and elite dual threat quarterback. He had a QBR of 83. One of his bigger disses is that he's not a thrower. I don't buy that. I don't buy it completely. And I think regardless, Lamar Jackson, I understand, the rebuttal to the Raiders trading and signing Lamar Jackson is, well, there goes your chance at an elite defense. And the rebuttal to that is, when did the Raiders last have an elite defense? But the rebuttal to that was, when did the Raiders last win a Super Bowl? Like, there's going to be two sides every time with every single decision. All I know is this, long term is in the Raiders' best interest to make this move, to make this trade and sign Lamar to a guaranteed contract. Who knows? Only Tom would tell. But what I do know is if they were to actually do it, and they were to actually go through with it, hopefully they could fill out what they need to fill out because the offense is set. All right. The offense is completely set. Yeah. Maybe a couple of moves need to be made through the draft, through free agency, or what have you with the offensive line. But the offensive line from the start of last season to the way they ended was worldly different. All right. It really was. I think statistically they finished as the 12th best offensive line in the National Football League. Defensively is where you have all the issues, and you could say, oh, a good offense, a good quarterback makes your defense better. And while that is true, you also need a defense that is going to be able to get you stops. So if you were to make this move and you were to give up draft capital and make that big signing and give him a bunch of guaranteed money, just money in general, well, you're going to really have to develop, progress your current defense. All right. And you're going to have to really, really, really do a great job drafting. Okay. And yeah, you're going to have to get creative. You're going to have to get creative on the defensive side. But to be honest with you, I'm not the biggest Lamar Jackson fan. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but like I said, CJ Stroud is enticing to me. I don't think the Raiders will be in a position, unfortunately, to draft Bryce Young. I don't think they'll be in a position to draft CJ Stroud. I don't think they'll actually even be in a position to draft Anthony Richardson or maybe even Will Levis. There is a big and high demand for quarterbacks, young quarterbacks especially, but quarterbacks in general. You just saw Derek Carr get paid a handsome contract, $100 million. He got paid. Derek Carr, who we just dealt with for 8 seasons, who's not an elite quarterback, that's how desperate teams are for QBs right now. I think that whatever team gets Lamar Jackson is going to be very, very thrilled for at least majority of whatever they sign him to. In the AFC West, you have to deal with Patrick Mahomes. You have to deal with Justin Herbert. You do have to deal with Russell Wilson. We'll wait and see what the Broncos situation is looking like. But right now, if you ask me, would I take Lamar or would I take Jarrett Stidham? Would I take Jimmy G? Would I take Mac and Cheese Jones? You have to go with Lamar. So I'm not saying the Raiders need to make this move. I'm not saying the Raiders are screwed if they make or don't make this move. But what I am saying, like a lot of teams in the league are going to do, is the Raiders need to at least look into this. You at least need to look into this move because you have a superstar quarterback available for a decent price who's going to elevate your team, regardless of what your defense is looking like, to a Super Bowl caliber team or at least a playoff team. That's it for today. I'm very curious to see what a lot of Raiders fans. I haven't seen this just happen. I was just doing my golf podcast, so I haven't quite seen even what like normal, let alone Raider media is talking about right now with where Lamar should go, where Lamar's going to go, is he going to stay a Raven, et cetera, et cetera. Just wanted to give my thoughts on it. Let me know what you guys are thinking about this possible move, and I'll catch you cats tomorrow.